Hello, everyone. I'm Trishul. That's me whenever I go back to India, my home country. Today, I'll be talking about cross-browser extensions. What are cross-browser extensions? OK, leave it. What are extensions? What are browser extensions? Anyone? I'm not as smart as that guy yesterday who was like a bouncer, wearing the Scottish skirt today. I totally forgot his name. He was too enthusiastic to make everyone enthusiastic. But I really want it to be more interactive because I'm a really lazy speaker. And I sleep at times, So you guys just need to wake me up at times. So again, do anyone know what is a browser extension? Oh, I heard that Polish was a really party city. Oh, I totally messed up that. So anything that extends a browser is a browser extension. Yeah, that's lazy me. I literally said that. So browser extensions are based on very simple principle. One size that fits all. So there are tools. For example, dev tools. Any designer may not need them. Or maybe any design tool that developer may not need them. So if the browser are ported with some predefined tools, which are not used of anyone, so that is degrading the performance of the browser. So browsers are shipped in a way they have minimum requirement that is required by everyone. So if I need something, I just install an extension, and I do my work. So precisely what I'm saying is, browsers are cool. Does everyone agree with me? Awesome. But when they suit up with browser extensions, they become superpower. Everyone agrees me on that? Awesome. Why are we talking about browser extensions? This is not a new thing. It has been around since the browser, right? Can anyone answer me this? Why are we talking about browser extensions? Guys, I'm sleeping. I'm seriously sleeping. OK, I'll be a bit less lazy. But I can understand, the last night party, the empty aspirin bottles. I can understand. So I'll be a bit lazy. Because JavaScript. Browser extensions are built totally on JavaScript. And as a developer, I love to use my skill set everywhere. I know JavaScript. I love to implement it in IoT devices. I love to implement in Bluetooth. I love to implement it as a browser extension, just not the website. What can an extension do? Any guess? Oh, I don't know that I was that infectious. I infected you all, You're being as lazy as me. So I will just let me know if you remember any extension which you use. Adblock. That's cool. Anyone know this extension? Which extension does this? It's an extension, right? And it's a life savior, trust me. I'm really bad at grammar, and I need my wife or Grammarly to correct me. Extensions can block ads, trackers. Not only ads, but trackers, right? Secure browsing. How many of you know Facebook containers? Anyone? Oh, not many Firefox users, probably. HTTPS everywhere? Anyone? OK. Do everyone know HTTP and HTTPS are different? I know, dumb question. It's just more than S, S stands for security. So yeah, I know. Or maybe better new tab experience. I'm really bored at the times, whenever I press Control-T or open a new tab, I have that same screen with some websites and thing. I want something better with my browser. Extensions let us to do the same. We can extend the new tab page and do whatever we want. So anyone use this, any one of this? Last password, one password, right? So precisely, anything we want. Extensions can do anything we want with our browser. How to do that? How many JavaScript developers are in the house? Can you turn on the volume? How many JavaScript developers we have in the house? So sleepy. I'm not that boring, I feel. OK, no worries. I can understand totally. So now the boring stuff starts. So that's why I was just judging people are already sleeping. I can make a bit more a lullaby kind of thing. So this is the basic structure of an extension. As every learning curve, we have manifest.json. So basically, manifest.json is a file which has the metadata of the extension, the name, the version, the dependencies, the permissions. Yeah, we have permissions in extensions. Not everything can be installed. We have content scripts. Content scripts are the script which are having the DOM context. When I say DOM context, basically what happens behind the scenes is, like this script is directly injected into your DOM. So you can make changes into the DOM. You can add node, delete node, or whatever you want to do. There are some background scripts. So when we talk about content script, it's very specific to a page. Like you can do something on page. But background scripts are totally independent of page and run in the background. It has access to some native functionalities of the browser. For example, if you want to generate a notification, play around with tabs, that kind of stuff is done by background scripts. Page action and browser action. Do everyone remember these small buttons sometimes in your browser, maybe inside an address bar or outside of address bar? Do you guys remember? So yeah, I'm just giving fancy names to them, right? So the first one is the page action. So what it does basically, it's very like its lexical scope remains inside the page. Like whatever it does remains to the page. Like for example, this is an add-on which is basically an IP. It reveals your IP. What's happened? So what it does, it takes the domain name and send a request to myip.com and get the details and shows in a pop-up. But on the other hand, the other one is a browser action. It has more generic approach. Like it remains there always for every page. So what happens is whenever you click something, either there is a pop-up opening or maybe some JavaScript code running. I know it's a bit boring, but whenever we need to learn something, I have been taught like this. So yeah, I'm just making you serve. Options page. How many of you love to have preferences in any code editor or anything you do? I always love preferences. Like even if I don't do anything, I just want it to be there. For example, there's an app. It puts red color on my site. I want it to be green. For apparently no reason, but I want it to be green because I want customization. So if you want to give the same thing to your users as an extension developer, this is the place where you can give the preferences for your add-on. And the best part is, this is pure HTML. You don't have to do anything. It's that block, which is this block, pink block. I cannot come up with a better color. I'm very bad at that. So that basically is just an HTML block. Now some interesting stuff. Webextensions API. Any one of you have heard about the extension APIs? Anyone? Awesome. Awesome. That's better. In previous conference, I had a bit more people, and then I was a bit worried, like, oh, they already know. What should I tell them now? Now it's a better place. We have a lot of people who don't know. So extensions APIs are an application package interface which lets us to use the internal functionality of a browser. Like for a JavaScript, we do not need to know the code, what's written in C, C++, Rust, or whatever inside the browser code. But all we need is that API, and I can use that API to perform my functions. So we will see some of the APIs today, and let's get started with it. And please bear with me, because this can be dangerous. Yeah, that's notification API. So whenever I want to throw a notification to a user, I will use this API. There's a type, icon URL, title message. Type is basically some flags, what this notification is kind of. So like there are some compatibility issues, like Firefox only and only support basic type. Chrome supports a bit more. So, OK. So this is a manifest file. Can the people at back see it, or shall I increase the font? Better? Awesome. So it's a manifest file. Basically, it tells what my add-on is about, like name, description, version, some icons, some background script. We'll come to all of that. So remember I told you about background script a few minutes back? So anything that runs in background or which has access to all web extensions API, we put it here. Okay. So we said that I need a background script. And let's see what's there in background script. So I use this API. So what I'm doing basically is creating a notification whenever my extension is installed, because I'm calling this function unconditionally. So whenever my extension is installed in the browser, it will just throw a notification. Do you want to see it right now? OK. So let's load a add-on. Oops, something went wrong probably. As usual. Demos doesn't work, obviously, as expected. I'll quickly check if something wrong. Oops, network error. Seriously? OK, so let's move on because it's not working, as usual. So I'll quickly explain. So this is a notification API structure. We create something and just put the type, icon URL, if we want. Like if you want to display any any logo or something of your extension next to the notification bar, we can do that. And it has simple title and just a message. OK, moving on to next API. Next one is browser action API. So we have seen the browser action, right? So browser action is this button, basically. So what happens is, when you click on the browser action, either it looks for a pop-up. Pop-up is basically an HTML page, nothing else there. And or we can do something with JavaScript with it. For example, if we see here, we can put something like this, chrome.browseraction.onClick. We can put a listener and do something. So what I do is like set a bash text, hi. And let's see if this works. Fingers crossed, guys. OK. Oh, this works. OK, not that bad. So it's too small to notice, but can you see something red on the right top corner of the screen? People from the back? Awesome. So what I did basically, initially there is nothing. This is the initial state of the add-on. So what I did is, I put add listener, do something function on click of browser action. So whenever this browser action is clicked, this thing will be executed. And what I did basically, I just put a batch text. That's hi. Make sense? Cool. Next thing, tabs API. How many of you want to play with tabs sometimes? Like, for example, when you close something, something should happen. Or when you open any tab, something should happen. Or maybe just click a button and tab should open. Have you ever thought of doing some stuff like this? Anyone? OK, now you start thinking, because now you can. So the first thing we can do is create a tab. So what happens is, we can create a tab with this namespace, chrome.tabs.create. It accepts some parameters. URL is a mandatory parameter, like which URL you want to create in the new tab. So let's check this. So what we will do this, we will take this, and on the click of browser action, we will just open a new tab. Let's see if this works. Cool, this works. So what I did basically, I hijacked the browser action on click event and put a function which tells the browser to, hey, open this tab with the mozilla.org URL. Make sense? Awesome. So beyond that, we can do lots of things with it. Let's say, for now, whenever I create a URL, the focus shifts from the current page to the next page, right? And if I want to do something like, I don't want to get the URL focus, but I want to be on the same page, and in the background it should open. So we can put active false. So what happens is, now when I click, something opens, but the focus remains on my page, right? Or how many of you know pin tabs? Have you ever used it? Pin tabs? Awesome. It's getting better. Only about notifications, it's not working still. Let's see. So if we do pin true, let's check what happens. We have a pin tab. So idea is, with this API, you can exploit the tabs like anything. You can create number of tabs, and going forward, in the next example, I will show you how you can listen to the events. So let's consider this one. Chrome.tabs.onActivated, add listener, notify, and I'm not sure will this work or not, because notify has thought of betraying us, like it already left us. Let's see if this works. No, notify is not working for some reason. Did I by any chance turn off my notification of the browser? I will try a different one. Just give me a second, guys. This one? There you go. You are the savior. You are the savior. Give that guy a cookie. Sorry, notification. It was not you. It was Mac. Or maybe it was me. Oh, sigh of relief. Oh, here it is. Tab activated. Let's cheer this up. Let's cheer this up. It went to a long way from the blockages of the poor Mac, So the point is, we can totally capture the events like onActivated, onRemoved, ondetached, maybe onCreated. I'm doing really silly jobs here, like just throwing a notification. But when you are building a meaningful extension, you can do a lot of it. Like for example, if you want to check, hey, I don't want people to let this URL visit, maybe a kind of child blocker, like some sites you don't want to let the people visit, you can just block it, and it should not go further, right? There are much more possibilities with the tab which we can do. So let's activate both onActivated and removed and check if everything works fine. OK, tab activated. Tab removed. Whew, it works fine. So moving on to our next API. Sorry, anyone? Any questions? Anyone? Cool. New tab API. So as I said, I was really bored with the new tab. Anyone in this room who is really bored with the new tab? Whenever he opens the new tab, he is getting the same thing, like this generic thing. I don't want this. Anyone in the room with the same thought? Right, we can change it. So all we have to do is this. So Chrome URL override is a method in which we can define what our new tab page will be. We can serve a static HTML. We can put JavaScript there. We can put CSS, a well-defined page, anything. For the sake of simplicity and minding my laziness, I created a new tab page. It has only this much. And the Polish people, can you read this for me? Because I tried hard. Trust me, I tried hard. I cannot. Anyone? Sorry? Dzień dobry. Did I pronounce it right? Oh, I'm a bit Polish now. Oh, let's see if my computer is Polish enough or not. Let me just put this notification to rest, else it will bug us like anything. That's a with notification once they are in picture. Now, There you go. Anytime you open a new tab, you have the content which you want. Probably a good quote, or probably something which I want to learn. Probably Dzień dobry, right? Moving to next. Some people have installed ad blocker in their machine, right? So do you have a wild guess like how ad blocker would have worked? How the ad blockers work actually? The basic, very basic step. Intercept request. Regular expression that analyze the page. OK, we will club it. That's exactly what it does. It basically intercepts the request based on some regular expressions from its database, right? So the next API which we are going to do is doing that kind of stuff, Web Request API. So this is one of my favorite API, and I feel it the most powerful API. With this API, you are like God of web request. I'm a bit agnostic and atheist, but still I have to say for the sake of this. Sorry for my orientation. So we have all these listeners for a request. We can do whatever we want on any of these steps. Let's say I want to change some request headers before sending a request, right? I can use on before send headers. If I want to change the response headers, I can do on completed, or maybe on response send, or maybe on headers received, right? It gives you so much flexibility that each step of a web request can be split, and accordingly you can change functions, right? Any one of you have used like user agent switcher? If you tested any of the mobile app on the browsers, right? You can create your own user agent switcher with this API itself. All you need to do is just change the request headers, right? Do you want to see this API in action? Yes. Oh, I was afraid. I really thought that I will bore you guys and I will skip this part because this is the most flaky part. I don't depend on Mac though. OK, let's see this if it works fine. So what I did here is, in the namespace of web request, I said chrome.webRequest on before request add a listener. In that listener, what it accepts is a function and a URL. It's very advisable to use a regular expression because you want to treat only several URL, not every URL, because it will add to the latency of the loading of the pages and the request, right? And then tell the behavior. Like for this behavior, I want block. I don't want to get any content from this domain. So what I've done is, in this function, whatever I do is like duckduckgo.com. It just cancels it. It does not let the browser load duckduckgo.com. Let's see if we can. Ooh. Hopefully internet works. It loads nothing because it has been blocked. And just to make sure that it's internet, it's not internet, it's us. Google.com is loading, but duckduckgo.com is not loading. To make it more visible to understand, let's throw a notification when any URL is blocked. Let's reload our extension. Let's go back and let's do duckduckgo.com. Here you go. The DuckDuckGo URL has been blocked, and it notifies you. Does that make sense to everyone? Any questions? Because it took me a lot of time to understand this, because it was already magic to me. Like, what's happening there? Anyone?
Is there any info in the console?
Sorry?
Is there any info about block request in the console?
If you see something in this, keep changes, OK. So if you see something, here's the URL which it blocked. So there's an info object which tells the tab ID, the window ID, the request headers, and lots of information about that specific request, so that to understand what happened with that request. So if you see the code, there's an info object in the handle HTTP request function, right? So I'm extracting URL from that info.
Okay, but my question was about, is there any info shown in the DevTools console?
Oh, no. No, it will not show because this doesn't reach there. What I did, on before request, I canceled it. Like there are more, we can see in the,
So it does not even create get request, yes?
exactly. That's the exact point. If we see here, before this step, nothing has happened. It's a complete life cycle of the web request, right? So we already blocked on the first step. So it's not registered anywhere. It's right away blocked. OK? But it's a really nice thing to do, like when you make a production level extension. So put logging at every step so that you know what's happening. And when we talk about logging, we are working in a background script scope. OK? So this is not the console of the browser web page, but you have to check the browser console. Got my point? This is a different scope. We are talking, when we explain the background script and content script difference, whatever will be done in content script, we can always and always view in the inspect element here, in this console, right? But what happens in the background script, it will be recorded in the browser console. OK? Could that be discussed? That was not covered in my slide here. That's why I want it to be a bit interactive, because I'm being apart from lazy, I'm a bit forgetful. Yeah. Again, sorry for that. Cool. There are a number of APIs. For example, alarm APIs, storage APIs, many APIs. You can visit this URL to get all the set of the APIs which are cross-browser compatible, Chrome and Firefox and Opera. I don't talk about the third or fourth browser, which I'm not so comfortable with, Microsoft Edge. Still, I'm not comfortable. I'm trying, but yeah. So do you want to see some working add-ons? Oh, I made you perfectly sleep. Cool. OK. So again, give back to my laziness. There's an add-on which I created for content script. So the idea of this add-on is to inject some JavaScript into the code in the DOM. So let's install this add-on. But before that, I would uninstall this add-on so that we don't get confused with the other one. Let's go for, OK, where are we? Documents. OK, so we will just look at the code of this. Let's see the manifest.json, how that works. So in that manifest.json, we say, whenever we go on duckduckgo.com, just inject this script, contentscript.js. Sound simple? Let's see what's in contentscript.js. Yeah, that's really lazy me. What I'm doing is just taking all the anchor tags and painting the background of the anchor tag red. Right? Just bear with me, because I'm really lazy to think anything of more. So we have already installed it. Let's reload to just be sure. Let's open duckduckgo.com. There you go. The point is, it's very silly example if you think of it, but think a bit more. We are actually injecting a JavaScript into a page via extension, right? And if we can inject JavaScript, we can do literally anything on the page. Make sense to everyone? And as good people say, with lots of power comes lots of. So please use it responsibly. Let's try another example. Let's remove this. Other one is word counter. OK, can anyone of you guess what this add-on will do? Sorry? Oh, you are my guy, you know. I would have thought that, shit. That would be a super cool idea, you know. But the problem is there are guys who review the add-ons. OK, no worries. So before showing something, let's have a look at the code of this add-on. Let's look at the manifest.json. So before seeing code of any extension, you should see the manifest.json. Like it has all the details. You will get a slight idea what things it is using, what APIs it is using. So for the given example, we will be injecting a background script in the background scope, and we have permissions. So that's the security measures for every web extension API. We need to ask permission from users. Like when you install, there will be an option like, hey, this add-on wants to access this API, this API. Are you fine with that or not? We will see it later. But for now, what we are doing is we have context menu permission, we have notification permission. Context menu API, this very simple as it says, it alters the context menu. It can create entries, it can delete entries, it can have some listeners for the events from the context menu. Okay, let's have a look at the background script. Okay, this is a simple piece of code. Let's start from mid, bottom, top. Yeah, that's a weird placement. Okay. So the first step is this. Is it readable by everyone at the back even? Give me a hand raise if you can read this. Oh, that's awesome. I'm the only one with visible problem. Okay, no worries. So what I'm doing in this is just creating a context menu, giving it an ID, giving it a title, and giving it a context. Context is basically what data you want to access when you click on something, right-click on something. For me, I want the selection text because I want to count the words. And if I want to have the image URL or maybe link URL, it should be link or image accordingly. Refrain from putting all. We can put all. It will give you all context, but that can be a bit not so performance friendly. So let's do this. And after that, this will just create and do nothing. Then we add a listener on that. Say, hey, please count me. Please don't judge me on my variable names, like I'm so stupid at that. So it accepts argument info. That object has multiple things, but what we are interested right now in selection text. So what it does is, whenever we select some text, do the right click, it will give us selection text. And now it's plain JavaScript. There can be lots of things we can do, but being lazy, I just split it on base of spaces. Right? Each space I count a word, and then I create a notification. Just tell them like, hey, total words are this. Excuse me. Let's run it. Hopefully it runs. No, we have the savior though. Okay. Let's do the right click. Yeah, okay. It didn't work at X. Okay, right click. So first check done. We have an entry in context menu, word count. And if you see, there is icon near to that. That's default icon of your add-on. But if you want to give a specific icon, which you maybe some another icon, you can specify in the context menu while creating. Like we specified ID, we can have one more entry there, icon URL. Okay, let's click on it. There you go. You have number of words, number of characters. Make sense? Awesome. Anyone has any questions? There is complete DevTools API. Probably I'm not covering in this scope because we had 40 minutes, which was trimmed down to 35, and now we have just 5 minutes. Oh. I made a statement like anything you want, and I'm not exaggerating, anything you want. Trust me, anything you want. Because, okay, there's a caveat. Mozilla is open source, Chromium is open source, there are browsers which are open source, right? You can create your own API and just suggest them, hey, what about this API? If it is not present. We will come to that if we have time. So we did this. Okay, coming to the responsibility part. How to make extensions secure? How to make sure that like whatever extension I install is fine? Because you have seen like it can do lots of things, right? Any guess? Okay, I'll help you with that. You install any app, right, in mobile. What it does, the first thing, ask for permission. Like, hey, this wants to access this, this, this. Do you allow it? So similar things happens with the extension. That's debatable, you know, like, yeah. But I'll come to that. This is the first step of security. Like, it tells you what it can do. And accordingly, you should or you should not install it. If you click cancel, this will not be installed, right? And coming back to your point, generally people install extensions from, how many of you use Firefox? How you install extensions in Firefox? How you install extensions in Firefox? Sorry? Official store. That's addons.mozilla.org, right? So both Firefox and Chrome accept the installs only from official store or the signed version, and it only signed. The extensions are only signed after a manual review. Like for Firefox, I know it very deep because I'm one of the reviewer. So whatever extension is published has been passed through at least one of the manual reviewer. Okay, so we kind of make sure that everything goes right. But there are at times where there can be breaches. There are always user ratings and abuse reports on all the stores. If someone finds, please report them. Okay, that's the responsibility part. And I said a moments back, like we cannot install the unsigned add-ons in Chrome and Firefox, right? So how will you test your add-on? Because it's not still signed, right? We provide, this is the way with which you can install add-on locally in your Firefox browser. And this is the way you can install the add-on in the Chrome browser, right? There are some tools which help you to get started with the extension building. This is the best tool in the whole community. This is a community-owned tool. And this basically what it is, oh, we have internet. I just forgot, sorry. So if you see, you want to create an extension, let's create. It will ask some questions. What's the name? And it will ask you, like, do you want background script? Yes. Content script? Yes. Browser action? No. Let's say no. Let's hurry up. Come on. It gives you a scaffolded extension, a full working extension with the options you have selected. So when you just want to give a try, you can use this tool to generate your scaffolded add-on and get started with it. The second tool is Webex. When you go a bit more production level, this tool helps you to create add-on from command line, and like you can write tests around that, like how it will work, like unit test, integration test, that kind of tests can be done with this tool. So once you are done, if you want to publish an add-on, this is the URL which has a bit information. These are some resources. And before I wrap up, I just realized that the title of the topic was cross-browser extensions, right? And we did all the things in just Firefox browser. Is everyone sleeping, or you just gave it like, okay, let it go? Why? Sorry? Oh. So, again, I'm taking a risk. If something goes wrong or times get up, please hold with me. Let's quickly check more tools, extensions. Okay, remove. Sorry, I forgot to remove though. Load unpacked. What I showed there, and let's document. Which one you want first? Content script or word count? Which one? Word count. Yeah, obviously it makes sense because content script did nothing. Okay. No, yeah, no one wants to have that ugly image on your system, right? So let's see word count. Let's open any website first. I'm running out of time. CNN. Oh, it's opening. That's good. It's really hard to select. I have an add-on for that which lets me select, Okay, I'll go with front-end con. Let's see if it opens. Yeah, here we go. And okay, palace of culture. Guys, how many words? Does it work? 3 words. There you go.